All right, people, good afternoon. Now let's break down Kenny McIntosh as a player in this league and try to figure out what he's really doing out there. And I think the numbers did a pretty good job of painting the picture, but let's go through the pros and cons and then let's talk about what I saw from him when I watched some of his games last year. So, the pros, like I said, limited wear and tear on his body because he only had the 1 year where he was the featured back. By the way, even that 1 year, it's not like he was getting the ball 30 times a game or anything like that. When he's got the ball, he's got good vision and he's got good patience when trying to follow his blockers. He seems to be really well built for his zone based blocking scheme where he just kind of waits for the hole to open up and then blows through it. And when that hole opens up, he can get up to his top speed quickly. He accelerates fast. He's not fast overall, but he's quick. And his 154 10-yard split is very promising. And that indicates to me that while he may not be fast in a straight line over a long stretch of field, he will probably be fast enough for our purposes when he's actually playing football. Like, there's a difference between playing a football and doing a 100-meter dash. So, when he's in open space, while he, like I said, he doesn't have a super high top speed, he's got a nice array of moves that he can use in space to make players miss. He broke or forced a lot of missed tackles in his time in college, and when you watch him, it seems like the first guy almost never brings him down. He's always either making the first guy miss or pushing through the first guy or taking contact and staying on his feet. One way or the other, he's just not going to let the first guy bring him down most of the time. So, one way he does that is by setting things up. And it's not like he has the most elusive feet in the world. It's not like he has Barry Sanders type agility out there. But he does set things up very well with his eyes. He does set things up very well by, looking 2, 3 moves ahead. He's hard to bring down and able to work through contact to get extra yards as well. He's not really a power back because he runs so upright and he's not really that big overall. But he can work through contact to get extra yards. I saw a lot of plays where he gets hit by what looks like a pretty legitimate hit. And somehow it's like it bounces off of him and he just keeps going. He's an excellent receiver. He can catch out of the backfield and he can catch balls when he's lined up wide. It's not just a decoy thing. I can see that George is using him in motion a lot, almost in like the Percy Harvin type role. You name it, he can pretty much line up as it. And he saw a lot of action in that role in college, so promising. And on top of being a really good receiver in terms of running routes and putting himself in position to catch the ball and all those other things, great hands. Unlike Charbonnet, who does have a few drops in his college career, although not a critical amount, but he does have some, McIntosh was targeted 90 times in his college career and never dropped a pass, according to PFF. Great hands. And I think this kind of goes without saying when you look at his acceleration, but he plays faster than his disappointing 40-yard dash time. The 4.62 probably stumbled, probably just didn't have a good time and didn't care. I don't know what happened there, but there's no way from watching him play on a football field that this guy actually runs a 40-yard dash in a 4.62 in his underwear. There's just no way. So I don't know what happened there, but when he's on the football field, he's not, he's certainly not, excuse me, Devon Achane. He's certainly not Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's fast enough. Now, there are some issues with him as a player as well. There's a lack of wear on his body, which is good, but that's also because lack of reps, which could make him a little bit raw and unprepared to do all the things he's going to need to do in the NFL. Like, for instance, I mentioned this in my morning video, his lack of reps pass blocking. Could that be an issue because he projects to be a third down back? So, some things to watch out for there. This next point kind of captures that as well. He did not show a lot in pass protection as a back, so he's kind of unproven in that area. Now, he did look good doing it at the Senior Bowl, so there's reason to believe that he can do it, but he only did it like less than 60 times across 4 years when he was at Georgia, and some of those years he got a really bad pass blocking grade. So I'm not too worried about it, but he is unproven until further notice. He's a guy who runs standing straight up. If he was able to lower his pad level and push through contact, he would probably be able to get tougher yards, be a better short yardage back. But no, he runs standing straight up. Sometimes he tries to do a little too much when he's got the ball, gets in trouble for it. Sometimes it doesn't happen too often, I don't think, but there are times when he just needs to burrow in to the line to go get a few yards instead of trying to bounce things outside and bust everything for a long run. It's not a huge problem, I don't think. And like I kind of pointed out in his numbers, he has a lot of good runs, but he doesn't turn them into great runs because he doesn't have the breakaway speed for it. Yes, he's faster than his 4.6 240. He's still not fast. I don't think he's faster than Zach Charbonnet in a straight line over a longer distance. So both guys, luckily we have K9, and K9 can take those plays and turn them into 60-yard, 70-yard runs. But these guys, no, they're going to get like 12 yards. They're going to get like 15 yards and be good. All right, now let's talk about game tape here. I watched a couple of games from start to finish of him. First one was the Oregon game, Georgia's first game of the year last year. This was interesting because McIntosh, he ran the ball a few times, but the highlight was he caught 9 passes for 117 yards. So this was a game where he really put his receiving abilities on display. Very first play of the game, he gets it, just a simple run up the middle, breaks a tackle, picks up a few yards. He does consistently show the ability to make sure he's at least going to get something because the first guy doesn't bring him down, and that's something that I noticed throughout this game. He caught a screen out of the backfield on the opening drive. Nice, easy gallop down the field. Again, he's not fast, but his gait when he's running down the field just looks very clean and natural, and it covers a good amount of distance despite him not being the fastest guy in the world. There was a 2nd and 2 play where he lined up in the slot. I think Georgia went 5 wide. He lined up in the slot, just ran to the flats because the cornerback was playing like 8, 9, 10 yards off. And he just turned around, caught the ball, turned it upfield, picked up the first down and plenty more. He showed good balance, tiptoeing the sideline, and he made a couple of open field moves to make people miss. So really impressive stuff there. He caught another dump off, made a couple of tacklers miss. So it's just a consistent presence in the passing game here for the Georgia Bulldogs. I did notice that whenever they wanted a running back to do pass blocking, it seemed like he was out of the game, and Georgia was using their backup running back. Again, I'm not ready to say that he can't do it, but I do notice that Georgia felt like they had somebody on their team who was better at it to pick up blitzes. Showed an ability to push the pile for extra yards on inside runs. He only got a few of them in this game, but when he did get them, it seemed like he was consistently able to push the pile forward. Now, it's a really good pile to push in Georgia. You're not going to have that advantage in Seattle necessarily because we're not going to have an offensive line that is leaps and bounds better than most defensive lines. But he seems like he's pushing the pile well. There was another simple route to the flats that he ran from the slot on a 5-wide formation. They seem to like using him in that fashion. He got his touchdown run on a jet sweep. So he was lined up wide, came back across the line of scrimmage behind the quarterback, took the ball was snapped, quarterback quickly handed it off to him on the run, and then he just sprinted to the pylon for the touchdown. So he may very well be a jet sweep player for us, the way that we've hoped guys like Dwayne Eskridge would be. So maybe this is our new jet sweep guy. Not too long after, he lined up as a wide receiver, not a slot receiver, a wide receiver who caught a bubble screen and ran for a 5-yard pickup. So there are a lot of different things that he's getting used on here that could be good for us. I think it was the very next play, he lined up in the slot, and then he goes in motion through the backfield. So you're seeing the Percy Harvin type of utilization. The utilization that we hoped we were going to get out of Dwayne Eskridge, which just hasn't manifested yet. Maybe this is going to be the guy who ends up being able to do it. More plays where he gets put in motion pre-snap, leaks out into the flats, catches, and gets 5. And I noticed that on a lot of these plays, I am noting that he's running into the flats. But there are definitely plays out there where he's running real routes. He's actually pushing the ball down the field. Like this next play, he ran a wheel route out of the backfield, put a nice move on the linebacker a little past the line of scrimmage, and had a big play, catching the ball deep down the field. It was like a 35, 40-yard gain, almost scored a touchdown, and it was a legitimate route. It was a legitimate wheel route. He wasn't just leaking out into the flat to catch a dump off. pretends to get the ball in a play action as this game moves on and catches a check down for 6 yards on the same play. There was another catch in the flats off a play action where he showcases the ability to make defenders miss in the open field. And just generally speaking, it felt like he was always finding a way to maximize yardage. I didn't notice excessive dancing here. I didn't notice excessive mistakes. I didn't notice, like, I'm trying to make every play an 80-yard gain. No, he seemed to have a pretty good understanding of how to put his head down and get the yards that he needed to get. And it was one of the best games that he played all year. The other game I watched was versus Florida a little later. Watching this game, I felt like I got a good idea for how smart he is as a running back. He sets things up well, it feels like, where he knows this guy's going to be here, this guy's going to be there, my blocker's going to be there, so I should be there. So I'm going to set this up so I'm here, and then I make a move to go there. That kind of stuff. It seems like he's got a good understanding of that stuff. He's very rarely brought down by the first defender that gets to him, always fighting through contact. There was one play on a 2nd and 1 where the first guy did get him because he got there basically as soon as he got the ball. But you're also seeing some contact balance where he gets hit and he stays upright somehow. He stays on his feet and keeps going. He takes big hits and he keeps on pushing. He only made one catch in this game. It was a screen that the defender read and tackled him immediately for a loss of 5 yards. But this was a game where he actually did a lot on the ground. He had a couple touchdowns and like 90 rushing yards. He had a short yardage touchdown on an inside run where he pushes the pile. His other touchdown was another one where he kind of pushed the pile at the goal line. He had one target that he did not catch on. Quick pass to the flats. He got hit right as the ball arrived. No real chance to catch it. Even if he caught it, it would have been like a 2-yard gain. He did pick up a couple of pass rushers in blitz protection in this game, but I didn't notice anything that drastically affected the play. He did have a fumble in this game, but I don't think he did anything super wrong. Just one of those plays where the ball got ripped out, and the defender made a really good play more than anything, I think. And those are the 2 games that I watched with McIntosh. Pretty easy to get an idea of what this guy is as a player. And it's pretty easy to project his role in this offense right now because you've got K9, who is your lead back, your bell cow. And then you have Charbonnet, who is kind of a complement to K9 and probably offers a little bit more as a third down back. But here, with Kenny McIntosh, with his pass catching skills, with his versatility, with his route running ability, with his ability to line up as a wide receiver, which Charbonnet doesn't really have, you have a true third down back. And it's hard for me to imagine the 2023 Seahawks not getting him on the field at least some. Maybe not immediately, maybe not a lot, but at some point he's going to have a role to play. I gotta believe that his skill set is more appealing than what DJ Dallas brings to the table, which is just kind of, I don't know what you would call it, like a poor man's Charbonnet. Like, what is DJ Dallas better at than Charbonnet? Maybe pass blocking, and I don't even think we can say that definitively. So I do think you've got your Cerebrus of running backs here with these 3 guys, and I'm pretty excited to see it. By the way, I didn't really mention this in these videos. Don't count him out on special teams either. He did do a little bit of kick returning at Georgia. Not a lot, but some. And there's reason to believe he might end up doing it in the NFL. It'll help him get the ball more if he's not getting the ball very much as a running back. All right, so that's it for all of our picks, all 10 of our draft picks. I went as deep as I could on all of them. I'm okay with pretty much every pick. There are some picks I like more than others, though. So overall, it's a draft class that I think will make a big impact and do a lot of positive things. I don't think it's as good as our draft class last year. Last year's class was almost perfect. This one, I'm not quite to that point on, but it is very, very good. And we're not done yet, by the way. We've got UDFAs to sort through here, so keep an eye out in the coming days. I'm going to go through some of the notable UDFAs, and we'll try to get an idea of who has a chance to actually make an impact in the 2023 season for the Seahawks. Okay, I will see you guys later today, probably on Twitch. See you guys tomorrow for the YouTubers. Like I said, we'll continue to look at some of the UDFAs. And until then, go Hawks. Let me know what you think down below.